Ghostly tales, yet mirrors of human life. Hey, everyone! Welcome to Encountering Chinese. Ghostly Tales from Liao Zhai. Today, I'm going to tell you a story called Stealing Peaches. In ancient China, it was common for folk artists to learn magic tricks, which we call shurfar. Today, I want to tell you a story related to these magic tricks. When I was young, I went to Jinan to take an exam, and it happened to be during the Spring Festival. According to the local customs, on the day before the festival, various shops in the market would hang colorful flags and then go to the government office to celebrate with the sound of gongs and drums. People called this spring performance. On that day, many artists would perform acrobatics and magic tricks in front of the government office. So, I made plans with some friends to go and watch the fun. We arrived at the government office, and there were already many people gathered around, surrounding the artists like a thick wall. My friends and I found a good spot to watch. Inside the government office, four officials dressed in red robes sat facing each other, looking very dignified. At that time, I was still young and didn't know exactly what these officials did, but I could sense that everyone around me was chatting loudly, and with the added sounds of gongs and drums, it was almost deafening. Suddenly, a man with a disheveled child on his shoulders and a load on his back approached the officials. He knelt down and said something to them, but it was too noisy, and I couldn't hear what they were saying. The officials all burst into laughter at whatever the man had said. Then, a man in a blue robe standing next to the officials spoke loudly. "All right. You can perform your magic now." The man with the child smiled and asked the officials what kind of magic trick they wanted to see. The officials chatted with each other for a moment and then asked their subordinate to inquire. "What kind of magic tricks can you perform?" The man replied, "I can make things grow out of season." The subordinate immediately reported back to the officials, and after a while, came down to tell the man that the officials wanted him to conjure up a peach. The man agreed to perform the trick. He took off his outer garment and covered a square bamboo basket with it. Then, he pretended to be a little resentful and said loudly, "Gentlemen, you are really making things difficult for me. It's winter now, and even the river surface is covered in thick ice. In such cold weather, where can I find a peach? If I don't find one, you officials will be upset with me. What should I do?" The child with disheveled hair next to him said, "Daddy, you already promised the officials. How can you back out now?" The man furrowed his brows and pondered for a while before saying, "I'm thinking. It's winter now, and where on earth can I find a peach in the mortal world? The only place with peaches is the heavenly palace, where the Queen Mother of the West resides. She has a peach orchard in the heavens, and the flowers, plants, and trees there never wither all year round. I believe there must be peaches there. We can only go to the heavens to steal one." The child, pretending to be astonished, asked, "Wow! Can we really climb up to the heavenly palace?" The man replied, "Don't worry, son, I have a spell. Then, the man took out a rope from the bamboo basket. The rope looked very long. He held one end of the rope and threw the other end toward the sky. Surprisingly, the rope immediately hung in midair, as if it was hanging from something above. After a while, he threw the rope higher and higher until it disappeared into the clouds. He had reached the end of the rope. Then he said to his son, "Come here, listen to me. I'm getting old, and my body is clumsy and not agile. I can't climb such a high rope. Now, I can only rely on you. You must go to the heavenly palace for me." He handed the other end of the rope to his son and said, "You pull it, and you can climb up." The child took the rope with a reluctant expression and complained to his father, "Daddy, you are really foolish. You want me to climb up to the heavens with such a thin rope. If the rope breaks halfway, I will fall and shatter into pieces. Then, where will you find my remains?" The father, with tears in his eyes, persuaded his child, "There's no other way. Daddy has already promised the officials. It's too late to regret now. I can only ask you to go to the heavenly palace. Don't blame Daddy. If you can steal the peach, the officials will reward Daddy with a lot of money. With that money, when you grow up, Daddy will find you a beautiful wife." The son, looking helpless, started climbing up the rope slowly. He moved his hands first, and his feet followed closely behind, just like a spider climbing along a thread. Gradually, he climbed higher and higher until he disappeared into the clouds. After a long time, a large peach fell from the sky. The peach was as big as a bowl. The man performing the magic trick was overjoyed. He immediately took the peach and went to show it to the officials. The officials examined the peach for a long time, their faces showing expressions of disbelief. As they were fully engrossed in examining the peach, suddenly, the rope fell to the ground. The man performing the trick saw the rope falling and shouted, "Oh no! My son is in danger. Someone in the heavens must have cut my rope, and now my child has no way to come down." After a while, a round object fell from the sky. The man rushed forward to check, and found it was his son's head. The man sat on the ground and cried loudly, holding his son's head and saying, "My poor child. You must have been discovered while stealing the peach. This time, my child is done for." Just as the man finished speaking, another object fell from the sky. It was his son's foot. Then, one by one, his son's limbs and body parts fell to the ground. In the end, all of his son's body parts had fallen. The man looked extremely distressed as he picked up his son's body piece by piece and placed them into a bamboo box, covering it with a lid. He said to everyone present, "I'm already old, and I only had this one son in my entire life. He followed me all over the place. Now we came here and followed the orders of the officials to steal peaches from the heavenly palace. But I never expected my son to die in such a horrible way because of it. Now I have to carry him back to our hometown for burial." He turned around, went back to the officials, and knelt down, saying, "I caused the death of my only son just to let you gentlemen see peaches in the cold winter. Please have mercy on me and help me bury my son. I will repay your kindness in my next life." The sitting officials were shocked and hurriedly took out money to give him. The man put the money in his bag, then went back to the bamboo basket, smiled, and said loudly, "Son, come out and thank the officials. Why are you still hiding inside?" Suddenly, the child with disheveled hair used his little head to push away the bamboo basket lid and climbed out. He went to the officials, knelt down, and kowtowed. The officials saw this and recognized the child as the same one who had climbed the rope earlier. The scene erupted into thunderous applause. Because this magic trick was so bizarre, I firmly remember everything I saw that day. Later, I heard people talking about a mysterious organization called the White Lotus Sect, where people could perform similar magic tricks. I wondered if the father and son were descendants of the White Lotus Sect. Alright. That's all for today's ghostly tale, Stealing Peaches. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode.